Whispers in the cornfield. The small town of Willows Hollow was quiet, surrounded by sprawling fields of corn that stretched endlessly under the autumn sky. The fields were the pride of the town, but they had always carried a strange reputation. People whispered about how the stalks seemed to move even when there was no wind, and how shadows lingered just out of sight. When 10-year-old Lily went missing, those whispers grew louder. It was a crisp October evening when she disappeared. Lily had been playing in the backyard, her laughter echoing into the twilight. Her mother, Claire, called for her to come inside, but there was no response. At first, Claire thought Lily was hiding, playing one of her games. But as the minutes stretched into an hour, panic set in. The search began immediately. Flashlights swept through the yard and into the cornfield beyond, their beams swallowed quickly by the towering stalks. The townspeople gathered to help, forming lines and calling Lily's name into the darkness. But the cornfield was vast, and the night was cold. By morning, the search parties returned empty-handed. Claire sat on her porch, her hands trembling around a mug of untouched coffee. The police assured her they'd keep searching, but their words felt hollow. That night, Claire swore she heard something, a faint giggle coming from the cornfield. It was Lily's voice. She bolted outside, flashlight in hand, calling her daughter's name. The corn rustled, though the air was still. "Lily?" Claire's voice cracked. A shadow darted between the rows. She followed it, her heart pounding. But when she reached the spot, there was nothing, just the oppressive silence of the corn. By the third day, the whispers started. The search parties began talking about strange things in the fields. Some claimed they heard Lily's voice calling for help, but when they ran toward it, it always seemed to come from a different direction. Others spoke of seeing shapes, dark figures standing among the stalks, watching. Claire refused to stop searching. She ventured deeper into the cornfield, armed with only a flashlight and Lily's favorite stuffed bunny. As she walked, the rows seemed to stretch endlessly, twisting and turning in ways that didn't make sense. The corn whispered, the dry rustle sounding like voices just out of earshot. And then she heard it again. "Mommy." The voice was faint, fragile, but unmistakably Lily's. Claire broke into a run, crashing through the stalks. "Lily, I'm here." She stopped abruptly when she came upon a clearing. In the center was a scarecrow, its head tilted unnaturally to the side. Its burlap face was stitched into a crude smile, but its eyes were Lily's favorite blue ribbons tied into bows. Claire screamed, backing away, but the cornfield closed in tighter. The rows shifted, blocking her path. The townspeople stopped searching. The cornfield seemed to swallow everything that entered. Claire hadn't been seen since the third day. The sheriff sent in a final search party, but they came back shaken, muttering about hearing Claire's voice and seeing her flashlight in the distance, only for it to vanish. The cornfield grew eerily quiet after that. The whispers faded, but the townspeople avoided the edges of the fields. A year later, a new family moved into the house on the edge of the cornfield. They had a young boy, Jacob, who liked to play outside. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Jacob ran to his mother with a question. "Mom, who's the little girl in the cornfield? She said her name was Lily." His mother froze, her face paling. What little girl, Jacob? Jacob pointed toward the field, where the corn swayed gently despite the still air. She wants me to come play with her. That night, Jacob disappeared. The townspeople say the cornfield hungers. It calls to the innocent and the lost, feeding on their fear. And if you listen closely, you can still hear the whispers of children among the stalks, laughing, crying, and begging to come home.